two, one, one, two, one, two, one, one, two.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Artists Under Construction. My name is Moves Johnson.
And I'm Neon Tom. Today is a very special podcast. We have Ed the Sock on the podcast with us. We are going to discuss some stuff on Artists Under Construction, specifically related to Ed.
Yeah.
And
welcome to the show, Ed. Thanks for coming. Thanks for being here with us. I can honestly say...
Yeah, whatever. Blah, blah, blah. The usual stuff that starts to crap off. Let's pretend we did it all. And am I supposed to actually call you Neon Tom?
No, you
like that?
Tom.
You can call him Tom.
What do I call you?
Moves, M-O-V-E-S.
Can I see your driver's license? I want to be sure that's your actual name.
You sound like Facebook. Oh my God, they asked me that too. It is not my actual name.
I'm just like Facebook. I wield so much power in the world.
You do.
It's funny that you say that because Moves is actually based in Berlin, and we are very excited to do this. And we were telling people that we had you on the podcast, and everybody in Europe was like, "Who's Ed the Sock?"
I'm trying to explain you to the Europeans, and it's a really the looks I get when I'm trying to explain how much of an influence that you are in Canadian media, and then they're like, "Oh, who is he? What can I see?" And then I show them a sock puppet, and the Germans just look at me very confused.
The Germans look at you confused?
Yeah, they do.
Man, if there's some screwed up stuff in the world, especially in rock music and sex clubs and stuff, it comes from the Germans. The Germans know weird crap, believe me.
Yeah. I'm very aware of that.
Yep.
But
I'm too weird for Germany. That's weird.
Right? So can you... For some of our viewers who might not be Canadian savvy, could you maybe give us a brief overview? Like, how would you describe yourself? What do you call your art?
Oh, man. I'd rather not say what I call myself because I'm Canadian. So I don't go in for all the big superlatives. That's one thing people should know about Canadians. There are no Canadian celebrities. There's just Canadians that other people have heard of. We don't have a celebrity culture here. We don't chase around our celebrities because we don't have any. There are actors, there are performers. We mostly just leave them to their own devices. I'm called a Canadian icon. You know, that and a nickel won't buy me anything. In Canada, we bury our treasures. So that's a nutshell about Canada and how we treat celebrities. I started on something called Cable Access TV way back in 1987. The smallest cable station in Toronto, and my show got popular, and it grew until it was carried by all the cable stations at 11:30 on Friday night, which is a time most of them weren't even on the air, but they went on to carry my show. And the show kept getting popular, and I went to a local station called City TV, which was basically a super station, and they were known for very original programming, producing their own, not buying it, and producing very eclectic, innovative stuff. So I had a show there, Ed's Night Party, which is a celebrity interview show, and during which I interviewed, a lot of people. Willie Nelson, John Cena, Ryan Reynolds, Christina Aguilera, William Shatner, Chris from Coldplay, a lot of famous celebrities I interviewed. And most came back for a second interview. I also was on a channel called MuchMusic, which was Canada's version of music television. It wasn't like MTV. It was all live, and the personalities weren't as groomed. They were more very real people, and the channel didn't have any money. And so the channel having no money, we made that into a virtue instead of a problem, and it became part of the character of the channel. And I was at City TV and MuchMusic for 14 years. My late night show was the top of the ratings. It beat out the American competition of Letterman and Leno, and I was the most highly rated VJ on MuchMusic. And there. Okay, that's enough kissing my own ass.
That's
No, that's cool.
Tom and I both grew up watching the Much Music stuff, and also Ed's Night Party as well.
Oh, yeah.
Fromage, I'm sure you get thrown back at you a lot as being just the greatest thing.
Yeah, one of my favorite things from televised history.
Genuinely.
Like,
Thank you. Yeah, I hear a lot about Fromage, which for those who don't know, Fromage would look at cheesy videos, or when I took it over, more cheesy aspects of videos. So we would take a shot at the biggest celebrities and their videos and show why they were stupid, why their messaging was screwed up, where they were cheap and cut corners, and just generally when the overall messaging was just ridiculous and stupid.
That show was amazing. I loved it so much.
It really helped me, like, because I was just getting into music and trying to get into bands and shit at that age, and it was a really, really like eye-opening kind of peek behind the curtain. You were one of the first people I remember where I became like conscious of, like, oh my god, these people are like, it's just a cash grab, or this is just like, it's cheesy, it's you know, lowbrow, it's not like the standard of creativity just isn't there. And you really were one of the people that helped me to take one of the creatures. Is person maybe not a? I'm trying to be inclusive.
I prefer person over creature.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Prick me, do I not bleed?
Yeah, exactly.
This is true. But yes, it's a Fromage was great. But you've got new stuff going on now too, right?
Yeah, see, Much Music was the thing in Canada. It was like the beating heart of cool and pop culture. And then new management took over and drove it off a cliff. Instead of continuing with all the stuff that made it popular was its live character and the different types of VJs that weren't the prom queen and the football captain. They were people that you'd know in everyday life. They were, people who get shoved in lockers. They were oddballs, but they were original. And then they started replacing those VJs with VJs who were like spokesmodels. People who looked a certain way rather than had a particular personality that could engage the audience. And they started telling the VJs what they should say and not say. I mean, I quit. When the beginning of all this was coming in, I quit. I walked away because I saw the iceberg coming. And so Much Music then stopped playing music at all. Started running reality shows. They dropped the name music from their name, just became Much, and started running reruns of The Simpsons and South Park and comedy shows that you'd never even heard of. So Much Music effectively died, I don't know, about a decade ago. But people still love it, still love the feel. And, there's more music videos being produced now than ever before. And the music video itself is an art form. It's not just people sitting on camera playing their guitar and singing. That's not an art form. But telling a story visually and marrying the story visually with the lyrics, that's an art form. And there's a lot of it out there that's really freaking good. And I know people are still interested in watching videos, putting on the thing and just using it as wallpaper in the background, relaxing with the videos. And so I decided to resurrect the spirit of Much Music and update it with modern technology. So we get, interactivity with our fans. We use social media. We've got new VJs, and we focus only on independent artists. Those are artists who, by and large, have not been signed to any record label. And if they've been signed to a record label, it's a small record label, not one of the big ones.
Right. And where do you find these artists? How do you how do you come across them?
Oh, it ain't that hard. Right now, we've got over 850 submissions of videos. I expect that within a few weeks, we'll have hit 1,000 submissions of music videos, most of them from Canada. We're willing to play videos of people from outside Canada. Primarily, our focus is Canada, but we'll play people from wherever. If you've got an independent music video and you want to get more promotion, you send it to us at submissions. Actually, the easiest way to go is go to NewMusicNation.ca, and there's a form there to submit your music, and we will play it. We don't, if you're from Germany or Bangladesh or wherever the hell you are, I know that you guys work hard to produce your videos, and you put them up on your own YouTube channel, and 63 people find it. And your work deserves a much greater audience than that. We're not major media. We get like 5 to 10,000 views per show, but that's still 5 to 10,000 more views than you would have got with your 63 views from friends and family on your own channel. And I don't say this to insult them. I know that it's very difficult to draw people in to your channel. It's very difficult because there's so much out there. It's hard to get people, even no matter how good your stuff is, it's difficult to get people to find it. And that's not a slap against you or your quality. The idea that if it's good, people will find it is just bullshit. There's too much crap out there to sort through, and people don't have a lot of time these days to sort through all that crap. And so they fall back on algorithms. You know, you go to Spotify or whatever, algorithms suggest new music to you. But algorithms can only suggest music that is similar to the music you've already listened to.
Exactly.
They can't help you discover new artists in different genres that you might like, or artists in the same genre that take a different approach to the music. So you're constantly just getting rehashes of what you've already listened to. We've got an eclectic mix of, we got rock, we got pop, we got heavy metal, we got screamo, we got punk, we got pop punk, we got country, we got, what else do we have? We've got, just about everything.
And I know you guys got themed shows. You have like the metal show, and I know you have your show, which is kind of like, I feel like a spiritual successor to Fromage, which is Just Kidding. And I love that show.
You love that show? We were thinking of actually cutting that show.
Please don't. I love it. It is my favorite.
All right, we'll continue. We were going to just put the Just Kidding videos inside my Yo Canada show. But if if you like Just Kidding, we'll keep doing Just Kidding.
Anytime I see there's a new Just Kidding episode, I'm all over that. That is, I used to love Fromage, and I was actually thinking that it's kind of, I think Fromage helps shape the way we make music videos, because we kind of listen to you and we're like, no, we agree with Ed. Those are silly ideas. That's not going to work for us.
I've genuinely had, like the strategy of making, I've genuinely made a video like, would this be something that would get like torn apart on Fromage or whatever? Like it helps set a mental standard.
Well, I'm good if I've helped to be part of the critical thinking that goes into making videos. Great. Though I find that I'm loath to make too much fun of videos by independent artists because they don't have the resources to do stuff better. Like I won't make fun of a video because it's cheap, because that's the amount of resources they had. And good for them for giving it a go, no matter how many resources they had. But there's some videos where clearly they put a lot of work into it, and I'm thinking, what the hell were they thinking? This is a very, very strange way to go about expressing your music.
Yeah.
And there will be new Fromage. It'll be sporadic, and it won't be like a whole special. But there will be ones where I take some of the Are You Kidding videos and dissect them. Because right now, Are You Kidding is I just introduce the videos and let you watch them and make your own mind up. But I'm planning to change that and add some Fromage commentary now and again.
Amazing.
Very cool. I'm excited for that.
Yeah. I really like how you keep circling around to the support of independent artists and stuff like this. That's exactly what this podcast is about and what we try to focus on. So like any sort of any artists who are watching, it's not just musicians. Sometimes it's painters or dancers or like content creators in any way. But, musicians who are watching now, go to New Music Nation, make your submissions. This is another way that we can all work together and help each other out. Yeah. So, Ed, we usually have a segment on the show where we talk about homework. And because we have all of these independent...
Homework? I never did homework.
Yeah, I know. That's why a lot of us are in this... in this boat.
I knew how to work the system. I knew that homework was bullshit. And all I had to do was sit there when they came looking for homework, and I would just pretend I couldn't find it in my binder. I couldn't find, and they got impatient waiting, and so they just move on to the next person. I actually only showed up for school for tests, because the rest of the time I determined was pretty much a waste of my time. And homework, as far as doing homework, look, you got me in school for hours a day. If you can't make that work fit within that envelope, that's on you. It's not on me. Don't you be taking up my time by making me, because you're got too much of a curriculum that you don't know how to teach. Don't you be imposing on my free time with work. That's just bad teaching.
Fair enough. It should stick. But this isn't
the street. Oh yeah, I was just gonna say it's true. You only get a few hours outside, so you know why?
Yeah, to hell with homework. Forget it. Stop invading my time.
Well,
Because homework is what makes you susceptible for then working for someone and working extra hours and taking work home with you and not drawing that separation between work and home, work and leisure time. Homework softens you up to be a slave, to be a wage slave. And you know what? Screw that.
All right,
Well,
I'm going to
amen.
reword this. I'm going to say we have a voluntary assignment that people can do after the show sometimes, and
the whole
usually
idea is to quit your day job and pursue your passion more full time. So, like things that people can do, things that they can practically do. Like if they don't have the resources, if they don't have label support or budgets or things like that. And things because you're really active on crowdfunding and stuff, and you've got I mean you've been working within television for decades now at this point, and you know you can see your career climbing the ladder, and it's more than just right place right time. I mean you've got a strategy and an application and you know a brand, I would say at this point. So it's
partially right place and right time though, because now I was doing my show, my late night show on cable access, which wasn't a paying proposition. And I initially submitted the show to City TV and asked, I said, hey, I'd like to, you should have this show on your channel. And they said, no, it's not our kind of program. And then they were applying for a license for a comedy channel, an all comedy channel. The license eventually went to a competitor, but they were applying for a comedy channel license. And in order to apply for that license, they had to have some experience producing comedy, in which they had none. And so they needed a show that was already established, already had an audience that they could then put on their channel so they could point to it and say, see, we have experience producing successful comedy. And that's when they came to me after saying no and said, we want your show on our channel. So it was I did a lot of work beforehand. I had to get into a place where I was ready when I was called up to the majors, but
Right.
that call still was a result of forces aligning that I had nothing to do with.
fair enough.
I think there's still kind of a lesson to learn out of it though, because you still have to be prepared, and you had everything ready for the moment that you had the opportunity. So like I think like artists need to have their songs, their videos, their stuff ready if they actually want to be able to get anywhere with that stuff.
Well, you've got to be like when they tap you on the shoulder, you can't say, hang on a minute.
Exactly.
You've got to have stuff ready. And
Exactly.
when opportunity knocks, it doesn't wait. So opportunity knocks, you got to have the stuff ready. You got to be on your game. You got to be ready to go. So, and that means putting in a lot of work for no money or very little money. You have to be if you're getting into the arts for money, you're some kind of moron. Because while there is money in the arts, very few people make it rich. Most people are fortunate to make a living. A lot of people do it as a sideline, as a side hustle. You have to get into the arts and be doing that stuff because you love it and you can't see yourself doing anything else, because it's the passion and it's the reward is being able to do it. If you're a musician, the reward is being able to make music and play music. If money comes from that, terrific. But if you're getting into it just strictly for money, forget it. It doesn't have the same structures as like a job working for a corporation where you work for a certain number of years, there's promotions and there's jobs internally you can apply for and climb a ladder. You can't do that in the arts. That structure doesn't exist. So the reward has to be that the main reward has to be that you're engaging in your art. The secondary reward is money.
I like that attitude. That's a really good. We've said this before on the show, like where you can't just steadily get tenure and as an artist, and eventually you can collect your pension and retire and all of that. It's some people stay at the bottom the whole time. Some people hit it lucky right away and they shoot right to the top. Some people, they've just had their shit together. They've had everything ready to go for years, and somebody right place, right time, like we were saying. I couldn't agree more. I'm really glad that you came to that organically and we didn't have to prod you, because people say that a lot on this show.
I don't like being prodded very much.
Fair enough.
I would have had a very, very bad result.
I try not to prod. We're gentle. We're very gentle here and delicate.
Of course, you're Canadians.
Exactly.
Even though you're a Canadian in Germany, you're still a Canadian.
It's a weird dichotomy. It's a very strange. It's not that they're rude here. They're just they have a different interpretation of like what manners are and what is politeness and what and so like as a Canadian, you're holding the door for everyone and you say I'm sorry after everything, and they look at you. They're like, that's not, why did you don't have to thank me just because I held the door for you or something. That's like, we're just moving on with our day. There's a structure to everything.
Well, eventually you may in fact become German and then come back to Canada and have your German interpretation of politeness thrown back in your face.
I'm worried that might happen.
Yeah, you'll come back, they'll think you're an asshole.
Like, why aren't you saying sorry right now, man?
I think they already think I'm an asshole. That's part of why I had to leave, I think.
Oh, I see. You fled. You didn't leave.
Exactly.
You fled.
Yeah.
Is there a warrant out for you that I should know about?
If you hear of one, you tell me. That's yeah.
If I hear of one, I'm telling them where you are.
Fair enough. It's only fair.
There's usually rewards, and I don't know you that well that I would not get the, or I would come to you first and ask you to match the reward amount.
That's fair. If you could at least give me that, sir. If I can't afford it, I'm not a rich man, but if I can afford it, I will double what they're paying.
Yeah, you get right of first refusal on any bounty.
I'm happy with that. That seems fair.
You got to game the system. You got to go for the highest bidder.
Exactly, especially when you're in entertainment, you need every freaking dollar.
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely do.
Amazing. Mr. Neon Tom, was there anything else that you had to say to Mr. The Sock?
Well, we still got a little bit more time, so there's lots of questions that I'd love to ask in the next couple. We got like a good 8 minutes left. So we were watching back some of the classic Ed the Sock moments on MuchMusic, and I forgot how fiery you were sometimes on that show. One of the clips that I watched was you said that you were coming in to just check mail at MuchMusic, and you were like, why am I even hosting right now? I wasn't supposed to be in. And I was wondering myself, I'm like, is he just doing that for comedic effect, or was MuchMusic really disorganized? Did they ask him impromptu to be on?
It was completely disorganized. It was completely disorganized. That was for real. Awesome. Everything I said on MuchMusic was for real. All my frustrations were real. And I actually remember that clip you're talking about. Yeah. I mean, the best clips of me aren't online because MuchMusic didn't digitize. And I have hours and hours of me on MuchMusic that my digitization equipment was disassembled when I moved. And when we reassembled it, it didn't work the same way. And because of COVID, I can't get a repair person to come over and fix it. But there will be better stuff. But that scene, that was for real. I showed up on a whim to check my mail. And, back in the days when it was physical mail. So I showed up to check my mail. And I looked down, and there's a schedule there, which now says that I'm on Saturday, like in a few minutes. And the previous schedule didn't have me on the weekend. So I got mad. And I called the person responsible for the schedule and told her, you screwed up. What the hell am I even doing here? I shouldn't even be on camera. You're lucky I even showed up, because I was really pissed off. I mean, they were disorganized, but this was beyond the pale. Usually, at least, they were able to block when VJs were going to be in. But then she changed it, put it in my mailbox, knowing I didn't work in the building. I had someone in the building who worked there on my behalf, but didn't check my mail. That was mine. And so instead of calling me and saying, you're going to be on the air on Saturday, is that okay? Just expected me to show up out of the blue at MuchMusic, check my mail, and then I would find it. And that's just bullshit. Well, who shows up to work when they don't have to?
Yeah, exactly. Like, she got lucky that you were even in the building in the first place. That's, yeah.
She was lousy anyway. She was a terrible producer.
We're not going to say any names, but yeah. We
names
all know
would mean nothing to you. But this producer was like the worst. I remember one time we were shooting stuff for Sand Job, which is like which was like Snow Job, which is basically spring break, taking famous bands out to certain locations and having concerts and doing stories and hijinks around the town. So I was out there in advance, and we were shooting. This producer didn't understand the meaning of there's only so much you can do in a day, so she booked way too much, and we'd been working all morning, and we hadn't had anything to eat, and we were like, we want to eat. She went and booked a fourth shoot that we had to get to, and we said, can we look? We're hungry. Can we get something to eat? And she said, "Oh, but I feel sorry for the guy I feel sorry about the guy I just contacted. He'll be waiting for us." And I said, "You care more about some freaking stranger than your colleagues who are starving?"
Yeah.
You know, that was typical of her. And then she would tell you, this isn't a vacation. It's like, it's not a vacation, but it's also not, I'm not in a Roman slave ship in the galley pulling the oars. Like she would make people go out, and like when you're in LA, she would find bands that were playing that nobody had ever heard of, and she'd make the camera guy go out and shoot these bands in case they ever got famous, and they never did. So there was hours of footage that were shot that never went anywhere for her just in case nonsense.
Oh man.
I've heard of having like B-roll and stuff, like, it's always good for just in case, but that's a bit over the top, man. That's yeah.
I know.
It was ridiculous. And then if you complained because, it's 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock at night and the workday's over, she'd say, "It's not a vacation." It's like, no, it's not a vacation, but even working day, when you're away, there's still working hours and non-working hours, for crying out loud. Yeah. She was the worst. Then and of course, typical of the Canadian industry, she continued to rise within the Canadian TV industry.
Yeah, because that type of attitude gets rewarded, or at least not reported. And yeah, that's. She was
a. I'm not gonna say it. You know the word I'm thinking of.
We all know the word. We're too Canadian. We're too polite to say words.
I don't need to say what you're already thinking. Exactly. That and many other stories continue.
Mm-hmm. Amazing.
So I think instead of homework, we're just going to give 2 hot tips for this episode. One is for artists who have music videos to submit to New Music Nation. Go to the website, submit your videos there. They will go into the collection for future airing at New Music Nation.
Indeed. So you just air, like if somebody submits it, you will play it. Is there like a wait time or a screening process? Or
there's a wait time. Yeah. with 850 videos. There's a wait time. So don't be impatient. And we don't send an email right away saying, "Hey, we got your submission," because there's just too many and there's not enough of us.
Right.
It's a very small operation at the moment. And we won't play just anything. There are quality standards. Mm-hmm. Like the video, we have to be able to hear it clearly. I want to hear the vocals clearly. Often the music overrides the vocals, and I don't like having to strain to hear vocals. So I've got to have clear vocals. Mm-hmm. Your video has to be at least something viewable. Like it can't be shot so low budget that it's dark and hard to see, and the camera work is really crappy. There has to be some craft to it. Right. I'm not saying it has to be art, just some craft to it that isn't just throwing visuals there for the sake of throwing visuals there. You have to have thought it out.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Cool.
I think it needs to at least be entertaining, right? I mean, you want people to watch it, and not turn your
watchable. Even if you're not entertained by it, like somebody else might be. It's got to be watchable, I think.
But that's the thing. I mean, not everything you watch on New Music Nation is something that's going to be your favorite. And eventually there will be something that is your favorite. And if you turn off too soon, you'll never get to your favorite.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I like that little piece of cheese dangling on a wire. That's good. Yeah. What's the, Tom, you said you had 2 pieces of hot tip. What's our second?
Well, I was thinking back when you were saying that, it was kind of luck that you were able to rise up a little bit. I was thinking it reminded me of that like Eminem song where she's like, in the moment, you got it, you want it. You need to have your portfolio ready for the moment when it comes. So I think just for everybody, if they don't already have like some sort of portfolio, some sort of link tree, something where people are being directed to their music and their content, to have it ready for when luck strikes.
Yeah, a website or a
Well,
SoundCloud.
I think it was Oprah who said luck is opportunity meeting preparedness.
I like
Yeah,
that.
that's awesome. That's a really
And
good
she's
quote.
a billionaire, so
That's
she
just-
ought to know.
Did you just quote Oprah?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I
Yeah.
just quoted Oprah.
I love it.
Damn, that's
Live long enough, you'll see everything.
That's yep. I'm learning that today. Well, I think that's all the time we have for on this episode of Artists Under Construction. So we want to thank one more time our guest Ed the Sock for being here. So Ed, thanks so much for tuning in or for joining us.
yeah.
Well,
But thank you
okay,
to our audience.
what are the... check me out also. I'm on Instagram, Ed_the_sock.
Yep.
And on Twitter, @EdTheSock. But go to NewMusicNation.ca. NewMusicNation.ca is the place to go. That's where you'll find our videos. They're up on YouTube, but you can access them easily through NewMusicNation.ca.
Yeah. Okay.
Mhm. If you like punk music, they have a punk show that's really awesome, hosted by John Tard. If you like metal, they have a metal show. If you like what I was saying about the Fromage videos and having funny commentary and stuff, check out Just Kidding. That is my favorite show.
Yeah, and
Thank
there's
you for
also
watching.
Yo Canada and Video Flow, which is not, though neither of those are themed. They're just an eclectic mix of musical styles.
Cool.
Awesome. All right.
All right.
Well, thank you very much, Ed. We will talk to you. I'm going to be checking out some more stuff, and everybody online is going to be checking that stuff out too. Hopefully, we'll get 1,000 more submissions your way soon.
Yeah.
All right.
right.
Jawohl, or
Yeah.
whatever they say in,
Auf Wiedersehen.
Germany.
Yeah.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Hogan.
Okay. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. I've been Moves Johnson.
Click like and subscribe.
Click
We
like
love
and
you.
subscribe. All that stuff. Yep. Everything below. Thanks for joining us, Ed. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah.
All right.
Bye, guys.
You anyway.
1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1.